This booty hole, so we switched over to Muxy for right now. Hopefully my notifications do not show up. It looks like I don't, because yeah, Streamelons just was not working. Like the chatbot was all kinds of fucky. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, guys, and non-conventionally identifies, we are here today for a very relatively on-time episode of Let's Chat. And as you can
see, not too bad.
Yeah, we're day late, dollar short, but we wanted to space the episodes out a little bit. So FlameSilver was nice enough to meet with us this week, instead of immediately after our Let's Talk About January and on. I'll have the link to that in the description. But FlameSilver, our first ever official member of the Shield Wall, my Discord and streaming community, will definitely be on this episode of Let's Chat. And for those of you that might not be able to tell by his accent, which we will let him divulge us with in a moment, he's from across the pond. FlameSilver, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm FlameSilver. I like to hang out with Pip, stream some Monster Hunter with him occasionally, but other than that, I'll play some Minecraft, do a lot of just chatting myself. So I like to get philosophical and talk about deep shit.
Minecraft?
Talk about feelings and what, you know?
So, your Minecraft? Your Minecraft
just a little bit of Minecraft.
Now the big question there, is Minecraft with RTX on or off?
Considering I don't have RTX, off.
All right, we gotta fix that. Flame needs to if FlameSilver is going to experience Minecraft, he's got to experience the full ray tracing capabilities of the game, which is actually very astounding, and it looks hilarious. Like, I definitely recommend looking up a YouTube video of it.
Yeah, I've seen it. It is interesting, that's for sure.
It looks super out of place.
My wait until AMD gets their ray tracing out, though, and we'll see what happens. Especially with the fucking price of NVIDIA GPUs in New Zealand, Jesus Christ. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers fucking crossed. But I mean, I'm on an NVIDIA GPU already. I don't see myself buying a new graphics card for a couple of years unless I build a second rig. So,
yeah.
So Flame, as per usual, we want to get to know you. That's what we're here for. We're here for a nice little back and forth conversation. For those of you that are just joining in the chat, welcome to this episode of Let's Chat featuring our homie FlameSilverx. We will have a link to his everything in the description for those of you that are going to be watching the VOD of this on my YouTube page later. But this is just going to be a little podcast for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Just kind of really shooting the shit and getting to know other streamers. Because to be honest with you, I don't know about most other people here that stream on Twitch or YouTube. But we raid each other. We hang out in each other's streams. But we don't really have an opportunity to truly sit down and just shoot the shit. We're usually streaming or talking about something or working out when we can collaborate together. There's never really a moment where we're like, yo, everything, all of you guys. Well, we love you guys in chat. Flame and I are just gonna hang out, and you guys are just here for the ride. Okay, good, get it, got it, good. Chat interaction will be minimal, but please, guys, if you have any questions at all, just let me know over yonder. For those of you watching on YouTube, well, you're fucked. Come check out either of our Twitch pages, and you might be able to have a conversation with us. So Flame, how long have you been streaming for?
Oh, that's a loaded question. The last stint, I've been going solid for maybe just over a year now. I had to take a break because of work stuff. Before that, it was maybe 6 months. And I've kind of been going on and off for I want to say 8 years now. Maybe 14 was the first time I started up a Twitch stream. So I've been in the game for quite a while.
Damn.
So definitely the longest going streamer that we've had on the platform here. Now, have you just streamed to Twitch, or have you been involved in other streaming communities?
Mostly just Twitch. I've been debating changing it up a little recently, but haven't really got around to it. So it's just Twitch for now. But we'll see what happens in the future. There's a lot going on with streaming platforms at the moment, so maybe there's a it might be a shift sometime soon.
Oh my, oh my. Now, so, well, you know what? We're just gonna touch on that now. So, what exactly is the driving factor in that right there, in you wanting to switch and try another platform out?
It's mostly the fact that I want to try like moving to a smaller platform and sort of grow with it, you know, like grow my stream on it, but also grow with the platform itself. Because Twitch, obviously, like it's got the most market share. It's basically like in this race, it's basically only going to lose out until it sort of gets to a point of equilibrium with all the other streaming services. So it's kind of one of those things where like I am a small fish in a very small pond. So I'd like wouldn't mind trying to go somewhere else and maybe trying to be the small fish in a much smaller pond and getting to be the big fish in that pond. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with Twitch overall though. Like it has its like fucking problems occasionally, especially with the way some things are moderated and whatnot. But in terms of like the smaller streamers, you know, that's mostly where I spend most of my time. And there's a lot of really cool people on the platform, and it's fun to be here and just stream, shoot the shit with people. So yeah.
Gotcha. Now, so since you've been doing this for so long, I know this is kind of a loaded, like even more so of a loaded question, but what was like back then, like way back, Baby Flame Silver, what was your driving factor to want to click that go live button for the first time? What was it?
I wanted to be in the Yogscast. That was it. I wanted to be a content
Oh,
creator.
Yogscast,
I wanted to play with the Yogscast. I was that 13-year-old that was like, yo, let's play some fucking Minecraft with the Yogscast.
Fucking classic right there. Holy shit. Can somebody make a Cider Helm reference in the chat? Because holy shit, I'm getting fucking flashbacks to my WoW days. Oh man. So you started, you kind of cut your teeth, so to speak, on streaming Minecraft, yes?
Actually, no. By that point, I'd sort of moved past Minecraft mostly. Can't really remember why I dropped off Minecraft, but before I even streamed, I was making YouTube videos as well, like gameplay YouTube videos of Minecraft, and those still exist actually, because they're on an old account that I lost access to. So,
Oh, we've heard many a story while live about that.
yeah. So if anyone wants to find those, just search FlameSilver12 on YouTube, and you'll get there. You'll find them if you want to hear what I sound like as a fucking 12-year-old. But yeah, so
or just come check him live at like 3 o'clock in the morning, because his octave range just goes as he gets tired. Oh.
Yeah, so I've kind of been at it for a while. You know, it's just one of those things where I'm young enough that I really grew up watching that stuff, and it was like something I wanted to try and do, because it was like, yo, playing video games for a living, like, fuck yes, let's go.
Yeah, like, let's
so
do
it's kind
it.
of one of those things where I started with YouTube, and then I discovered Twitch, and the idea of doing it live and having that interaction was like kind of appealing, so I wanted to give it a try, you know. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to try most things. Like, I don't really care if I fail or whatever. It's like just like as long as I give it a go. So mostly my first time streaming on Twitch was mostly just let's see what happens, you know.
Fair enough. So what would you, so looking back at your first batch of what are probably absolutely horrendous, because I know mine were absolutely horrendously cringy streams back then, versus when you would say that you like took your longest break, or took like your biggest break, and like genuinely came back to streaming again, what would you say are, you know, some of the biggest differences you noticed on the platform from streaming back then versus now?
Streaming back then versus now. Streaming back then, you definitely got a lot more people just popping into chat. Like even if it was just popping in and out, like they just said one thing and fucked off, like that was it. Whereas now you can go like 5 streams in a row without having anyone new come into chat, and it's just your same regulars, you know. So it's like the meta's completely changed, and organic growth just is not fucking possible anymore. So I kind of wish I had have stuck with it back then for that organic growth, but I never did. So
so you know, that's kind of one thing that I I personally find to be a little, I will say it's accurate. I have no fucking clue what my ceiling light is doing, guys. We're just gonna ignore it. My ceiling light has a mind of its fucking own right now. I think I fucked with the timers or something earlier. So we're just gonna have a little disco show on this episode, apparently. Phillips Hue, everybody. Don't make random timer settings right before you start streaming, if you got them. Anyways, I tried to set up something cool where like throughout the stream it like just faded in and out, but apparently it's just gonna fuck off and have a mind of its own. But anyways, the whole thing of like organic growth I find on Twitch is kind of a both a misnomer, but is also still relevant. Is it extremely more difficult because of how saturated the platform is? I would say yes, but I would also say that goes for any social media platform. Social media in general and content creation. So I mean, like, you think of social media, you think Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, now TikTok, aka Vine 2.0. Fucking, there are so many people literally just hemorrhaging content onto those platforms. That sure, there's niches because you have gaming YouTubers, gaming Twitch streamers, podcast Twitch streamers, people like you and me where we're like, yeah, we ain't got no fucking clue what we're doing. We're just doing. This is us. Dude, I started streaming building fucking Gundam model kits and occasionally playing Hearthstone, and eventually it was just like, well, I ain't got no more space for plastic robots, so I'm just going to play video games.
I've done a bit of everything with streaming. You know, I've played games, I've done a bit of art, I've done programming, done fucking some 3D modeling, shit like that. So,
but that's the thing though. So like okay, I think I found the off switch for these fucking timers. Okay, we're good. Lights are not hopefully gonna just fuck off on their own anymore. All right, so. But you could be streaming a one particular game, or you know you could be in one directory one day and just say, done, never doing this again. There's too many people. There's 1,500 people at any given moment, 15,000 people playing this game. I'm just never gonna touch it again, and switch to something totally obscure. You could say like, hey, you know what? I am going to be the best Slay the Spire fucking streamer. For those of you that don't know, it's a fun ass deck building kind of roguelike adventure game. I highly recommend it. You will waste hours on your fucking life. Hashtag not sponsored. But, and you can get it on Switch, which is even more of a problem. So, yeah, this is... Yeah, when I go somewhere, it's this fucking Monster Hunter and Slay the Spire, and I'm like, I'm golden. I don't even need anything else except for maybe alcohol. But that's neither here nor there. But
it's a different story entirely, though.
But like, back on point here before I get rambly again. Like, you could completely pivot. Like, even in the same stream, like I could just decide, you know what, Flame, you and me. We're not doing a podcast anymore. You and me head to head, I don't know, fucking backgammon, like, tournament. For first to 20, I don't know. Like, you could pivot literally even midstream and then all of a sudden blow up. Because somebody finds you from what you put your stream title as to what... It's a matter of luck.
Yeah, and I entirely agree, yeah.
So, and when it comes to luck, in all honesty, sure, there are ways to beat the house. But at the same time... you also have to have an understanding of branding and marketing. And I really hate those buzzwords in most circumstances because they're really cliche at this point when it comes to live streaming and content creation. But they do still hold their merit in a lot of aspects. And one of them is really getting yourself out there. And sure, you're not really going to get any reasonable growth by sitting on your ass with that live fucking record button going and your stream blasting away on Twitch. It's just not gonna happen. You could, like, I got a fairly substantial raid while playing Monster Hunter. We had 300 some odd people in here. I'm not gonna say who raided me because, to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter, but the person that rated me, you know who you are, and you're fucking awesome for it, and thank you. And I loved every single person that came in and chatted. the amount of, I think maybe 4 or 5 of those people actually genuinely came back. And then because of that moment, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 people found my stream from having that inflated viewer count from that raid. So, sure, there was some growth. Was it valuable? In terms of a monetary aspect, I would say no. But the growth was substantially less than you would expect having 300 plus people in your chat.
Yeah, no, I've definitely experienced that. I love raids and I appreciate everyone who does, but especially if it's like a one-off thing, most viewers are just gonna like skip by and go over it. The point where raids really become useful is if you're like really like you've got a relationship with a streamer already and you're raiding each other back and forth. That way you're like trading viewers. Like every time you re-raid them, one extra person might be inclined to stick around and go, okay, like they're clearly friends. I like the streamer. Let's see what this other guy's about, you know?
Real quick, we have a pretty funny comment over in chat. Our buddy Missing Minds. Oh my god, there's too many beards on my screen. There's not enough beards on your screen. Where's your beard, Missing Minds? Huh? I'm looking at you. Where's it? You know, I think I see a little speck. I think. Hey, there it is. Okay. So it's right here. Good. Do me a favor. Grab that beard and just pull it out. You got hair up top here to borrow from. You got it. Beard gang.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Back to the conversation of growing on Twitch and stuff. Definitely. I think if you're really wanting to grow on Twitch and become a big streamer, like you need to find like a game you can play and just spam the fuck out of that. But that's not really my style, mostly because like I just stream for the fun of it. I'm not too particularly concerned whether it blows up or not, you know? And there's also just the fact that I don't want to be like locked in like that. Like I'm the kind of person that likes a lot of variety and I do a lot of different shit. Like one day I might be fucking programming, the next I'll be playing a game, the next time I might be doing some art because like I fucking love that variety. I can't do
cough
like,
or hunting with
thing.
Pip. Cough. Excuse me. Sorry. I had a little something in my throat.
But yeah, so definitely like if I really was trying to grow on Twitch, I would be like my approach would be completely different. But even though I'm not growing very quickly, like certainly like even compared to sort of 2 years ago when I like first started properly streaming again on Twitch, the difference in just organic growth is really different. Like after I came back from my break because of work, I noticed straight away there just wasn't as like much like organic, just like people popping in, popping out, following and shit like that. And like if you cement yourself in a category and people are always scrolling through that, they'll like be way more likely to see it. Obviously, like they'll continue seeing you pop up and they might actually eventually check you out.
Now see that's my thing, because like I honestly I don't browse the directory. Do you personally?
Yeah, there's been plenty of times where I'll be trying to find like another streamer to watch or a small streamer that I might like, I'm trying to find someone to play games with or just like vibe with or network with or whatever. So I certainly go like looking, especially for the smaller streamers, just because like I obviously know the struggle of a small streamer. So all of my like viewing time on Twitch, what little there is of it, is either watching friends or watching other small streamers. I'm just trying to engage in that community that I am like a fundamental part of as a small streamer.
Yeah. Now, so you had mentioned that you had took a break for work. So if you're comfortable with doing so, would you like to divulge to us what you do for a living, or had previously done for a living to cause this break?
Yeah, okay, so basically I just joined the New Zealand Navy, so I had to go to basic training, and that was why. So obviously, basic training, you're living on base, can't leave, you're locked there, no access to technology, so that's why I had to take that break, which I lost a lot of momentum during that as well, which was unfortunate. So even though, like I said, like I'm a variety streamer, so I jump around all over the place and I don't have a lot of that growth. I'm really glad that I do it that way though, because it means like the people who do stick around are here for me and not for what I do. So like even though I have a really small viewership, it's a really core strong viewership that I can almost always count on being there to watch my streams no matter what I do. Now I feel like in the long run that'll do a lot more for like a growth of a stream, because you can regularly rely on having like that sort of concurrent viewership more than like if you jump a game and suddenly you lose all of it because they're just there for the game. they're
And
playing, you know.
that in a way kind of like helps you establish like a sense of community, almost, as like a, hey, these are kind of the ground rules, this is like how our chat interactions go and the like. Because you're always going to have that core of people to have certain types of conversations with while you're live streaming, versus if you're shuffling a whole batch of people in and out day in and day out, you never really know what kind of conversation you can get started with those same core viewers. You can always just be like, oh, hey, so and so always wants to chat about this, so if chat's getting a little dry, I'll throw this out there, those kind of things.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I love about Sam, who is like the one person that is always in chat with me. Is he's a little shit sometimes, but regardless of what I'm doing, I can always count on him to like have an interesting conversation with. So I've got like that sort of back and forth, so that if someone does jump in, they go, oh, look at this interesting conversation going on, and they might be more inclined to stick around.
Oh yeah, well, I feel like every stream has like that designated troll.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, Lorgoth.
You definitely have a few of them.
Hi, comrade. Hi, Mighty Mino. Not to call anybody out. But hey, DJ. So now the main reason why I'd asked if you wanted to divulge what you took your break from streaming for is I wanted to ask you, like, as far as streaming's concerned, do you personally find that the time that you had spent in the military and like going from like a purely digital interaction with a lot of people socially to literally half the time rubbing elbows with somebody, do you feel like that genuinely changed how you interact with your viewers on Twitch when you came back?
Oh, that's an interesting question, actually. I'd never really thought about that. I think in some sense, probably, because like, I don't know about the whole rubbing elbows thing, but obviously when you're doing like basic training in the military, you're going through a lot of stuff and you sort of develop very quickly as a person compared to the way you usually would. So I definitely came back as like a very different person with like, sort of a different way of interacting, I suppose, a different sort of, I mean, yeah, that's a doozy of a question. Damn.
Sometimes I come up with a couple good ones. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Now, would you find that it was easier when you came back to just interact with random strangers on the internet, or would you say it was pretty much about the same, or?
It was about the same for me. I'm pretty confident and I have a good handle on who I am, so I'm not really playing a character. So like, I'm fine with just like putting myself out there and doing whatever, like if people like me, they don't. If they do, then that's fucking great. Stick around, chill out, have a couple beers with me,
Amen to that.
So
I'll definitely drink to that.
I don't have a drink here with me. I didn't have fucking any alcohol. I should have gotten some. God damn it. I came underprepared.
Unprepared. And you're in my shield wall. We might have to send you back to basic, homie. Shield wall basic. Oh man. So, as far as live streaming is concerned in general, what drove you to come back to Twitch? Because how long was your longest break for exactly?
I think last time before this set of streams, it was a long time actually. I think I started streaming again just before I moved back to New Zealand, because for those in chat who don't know, I lived in Australia for a while. So when I was
shout out to my Aussie homies in chat.
When I was living in Australia, I did a little bit of streaming. It was really hard to stream, which like initially when I started streaming, I wanted to stream League of Legends because that's mostly what I watched on Twitch, but I couldn't stream it because my internet like made me lag the fuck out. Right. So my first, like the game I consistently streamed first was just Skyrim.
Sounds good to
so
me.
I started with that, and then we moved around, and situation with the internet changed to the point that I couldn't stream at all and shit like that. So we moved. Couldn't stream for a while. Then we got like an internet upgrade because they were rolling NBN out, the National Broadband Network, which was like a huge upgrade. infrastructure upgrade going on in Australia, and I could like just stream with that. But then like we only had that for I think maybe 3 months before we moved back to New Zealand, and then I was back to like shit internet and couldn't stream. So I want to say 2 years. 2 years was my longest break. After like 3 months of streaming, and then like another 2 year break before that.
Okay, so what would you say was your biggest, your biggest driving factor to want to come back to streaming after being away from it for so long?
This latest stint, it was mostly just because like I wasn't working, so I had trouble finding a job after high school and everything, and there was a lot I wasn't like during the day I wasn't doing a lot, and often I was just playing YouTube, and I wanted to start playing more games again because procrastination included not playing games. Like I was legitimately procrastinating playing games, so I was like, I'll start streaming on Twitch, and that means like I'll basically force myself into playing games because it's like when you're streaming on Twitch, you play games, you know. So that was like the big motivating factor this last stint. But since then it's changed because I like streaming on Twitch again. It really rekindled like my passion for creating content and stuff like that, and going, yo, I want to see if I can maybe turn this into something I could do full time in the future, you know, or just like see where it goes, you know.
Fair enough, fair enough. So now you happen to stream at very interesting hours such that you and I happen to find each other, because
Yeah.
it's literally tomorrow for you, homie. Like,
Yep.
you are from the
20
future.
PM.
So my question to you is, I mean, obviously you were in the military, so you might have had an opportunity to interact with people from you know various different parts of the world at some point in time or another. What would you say, you know, did you normally, like, did you stream during quote unquote like normal New Zealand gamer hours, which I don't know what those would be. I mean, for us that's like 10 p.m. onwards, for us Americans. But you know, for you, I mean, like, did you find that, you know, eventually coming to interact with more people like globally on Twitch was a bit of a, I guess the proper word for it would be culture shock. But did you find that you kind of had to adjust the way that you interacted with people versus, say, like your peers over in New Zealand?
Not particularly. Like I said, you know, I'm just myself, so I just interact the way I do. But I guess I have the advantage in the fact that I have like lived between different countries, and I know there's going to be some people who dismiss it because like I lived in Australia and I grew up in New Zealand, so to a lot of people that's the same. But there is like a huge cultural difference between the two, so it's like that thing where I basically already had real world experience with that. So, and I mean, when you're talking about gamers anyway, like you've got cultural differences in the countries you live in, you have the shared culture of being gamers anyway, so
Yeah.
it's not that different.
Yeah, there's that common thread that typically, and that's one of the cool things about streaming, I find, is you run into all different kinds of people from all over the place, and you, no matter what, you always have that common thing. It's almost like going to a like an anime convention or something like that. Like, everybody's awkward, so nobody's awkward. We did get one question in chat that I actually really want to touch on here. So my homie DJ asks, why do you think a hiatus is such a normal thing for streamers? Because he is right, it is a fairly common thing for people to take streaming hiatuses. Why would you, I mean, you personally have a reason, I mean, for work in the military and the like, but what would you say is the most common thing you've noticed as far as a reason for a streamer to take a hiatus?
Yeah, so it's I think the most common one is probably burnout, especially if you're like a small streamer and it's the sort of thing you're doing on the side as a hobby, and you're not like, it's not your job, then you're more likely to just like fall off from doing it and just give it up for a little bit until you sort of like go, oh, I want to do this again. So I'd say burnout, yeah, certainly as like a small streamer, that would be the most common thing.
Yeah, I definitely think burnout, but to kind of like elaborate on that a little bit, I mean, for people like you or I that like have an aspiration to potentially want to do it full time, or, you know, actively taking strides to put ourselves out there and try to make this a full-time thing or even a part-time thing, the whole factor of like basically trying to start an entire, like, half the time for me, personally, content creation outside of just clicking live and just hanging out with people feels like an entirely separate life from normal day-to-day work, like day-to-day work, house chores and stuff like that. So it genuinely feels like half the time like I'm trying to have this duality in my life, and there's just like, okay, dude, there's only 24 hours. You gotta drop something.
Yeah, that's true. Certainly, there's been a few times I've like just not streamed because I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it or something because of like other stuff going on in my life, sorry. And it's probably going to be coming up soon actually because I have to move. So
That's right, you are moving soon.
Yeah. Luckily, it's an apartment in the exact same building, so I'm literally just moving downstairs.
Yeah, so it's not that big of a deal, but you're still like you still have to pack up literally all of your shit and get the fuck out. So
I have to move that. So probably I should be able to get most of it done during the week. So maybe, hopefully, only a Thursday stream will be gone. But I was supposed to stream yesterday and I didn't. I was supposed to be working, but I got put on standby, so that was good. But it was also just one of those things where I'd already like said I wasn't going to stream, so I just decided to take the break, you know? Because as much as you do enjoy streaming, like when you've got other stuff going on, it can be really hard to just like go live and press that button, you know?
yeah, and it's weird because in I mean, some people are very animated when they're streaming. Other people are, you know, very stoic, just sitting there like.
Yeah, and I think that's the contrast between us actually is like, I mean, I'm not really stoic, but like certainly my general vibe and stream is a lot more low energy than most, because it's kind of that place where like I just want people to come in and chill out and relax after a long day, you know?
Amen to that. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I come hang out in your stream. I'm like, yeah, somebody just made a comment in chat that I am literally like moving like a son of a bitch right now. Fuck you. I have a sinus infection and I am hopped up on all kinds of antibiotics that are kicking my arse. So I am hopped up on fucking caffeine and alcohol right now to be at least semi-awake, yet alone animated enough to put some energy into this boy over here. You see this man? Do you see how much this man moves versus how much this man moves? I'm trying to like Hadouken some of that shit over across the pond, all right? Nah, but see, like, but again, that's why I feel like that's why a lot of people come to your stream in particular, because like, I mean, a lot of us in the Shield Wall come and hang out with you when we can, and we play Monster Hunter together all the time. So, yeah. But I like when we first started rating you, a lot of people would come back and go. Because I not so much that like I like send spies after people like, oh hey, tell me how the rest of their stream went, but people do give me feedback on like, hey, you know, I think we should raid that guy again, they were really cool, or they were chill, or they were super hype, and they kind of piggybacked off of your energy that you had at the end of the stream. And every single time we raided you, people were like, yeah, no dude, like I can't say anything like bad about the guy. He was just like super chill, very talkative, somehow paid attention to both the chat and the game he was playing, unlike you, Pip. And I was just like, well, fuck you. All right, look, I got a one-track mind, and it just happens to divert very often. It's like a squirrel.
There we go. I'm back.
Oh, dude, autofocus is the devil.
Yeah. It really is.
That was one of the worst things ever when I was doing Gunpla streams all the time. Is because I had one webcam and I constantly had to like switch up to my face if I was taking a break, and then go back down to the model kit and like zoom in on my OBS settings, and dude, getting that camera to refocus back and forth was a nightmare.
I can imagine. I actually, for a stint, I had two webcams, because the first webcam I was using, it was dog shit. I looked terrible because it was like pixelated as fuck. But I got from a temp job I had, I was working IT for a little bit. I got two just old ass Logitech webcams from like the mid noughties, I want to say.
Nice.
And I just used both of those. So I had a camera set up on me, and then I used one for some other random shit. I think at one stage I tried to have like a doggo cam going, because when I was at my parents' place, I had my puppo there with me, obviously. But she didn't like stick around. She always fucked off. So I was like, I gotta give up on that, I guess.
I feel you on that, dude. The amount of times I've tried to have my cat just chilling right here, but he'll sit there for like 5 minutes and then like I want to leave. Can you go open the door?
Yeah, but yeah, there was one
that's why I got
did.
plushies.
there was one stream I did where I had the main camera pointed on me, and then I used the other one basically as like a hand cam for like, because I was doing some maintenance work on my server or something, and I just streamed to me working on my server, just like swapping out memory and shit like that.
How long ago was that? Because I kind of want to go watch that.
It's gone.
Damn.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
That's like, for those of you that don't know, that's like straight hardware porn for us tech guys. Like, we will literally watch each other swap RAM sticks. That sounds a lot dirtier than it's meant to be.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess technically I have fucking some videos up that are just me playing around with a server, basically doing the same thing. That was completely unrelated to my Twitch, however. So yeah, it's kind of like another weird thing I do when it comes to like variety is it's not like now I've sort of gone to like uploading VODs and stuff recently, and stuff like that. Actually, I need to do some editing. Fucking stop being a lazy shit. But I've started uploading VODs, but like my main YouTube content that I do is mostly revolved around tech, and shit like that. Just because that's like what I wanted to do on YouTube. Just because like I felt like gaming was like so overloaded on YouTube, and I kind of got bored of gaming on YouTube and preferred watching on Twitch. So it was one of those things where like if I was gonna like make gaming content, I wanted it to be like live streaming on Twitch basically. So YouTube was like a different thing, but I still wanted to like do YouTube.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting because our last interview with January and on, he made a brilliant point with that of when you branch out to other platforms, you know, that's kind of your opportunity to say like, hey, what are some of the things that make me that I can share with the people that are interested in my content that I may not, you know, either feel comfortable or be able to divulge on Twitch. So that's almost like pretty much hitting the nail on the head here as far as like what he was touching on. Like you love tech just like I do, so you built your YouTube channel around tech. So yeah. you gotta basically we gotta build you up to like Linus Tech Tips, but instead of Canadian, you're just the Kiwi. You're the Kiwi of tech.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to be Linus Tech Tips though, because I want to go a bit more like hardcore with it. You know, obviously, like he sort of approaches it from like even though like tech as a whole is niche, he approaches like the sort of mainstream part of it, whereas like I'm focused on sort of like a very.
Oh, give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds, Flame. You chopped up a bit.
Oh. Are we sorted?
It looks like it caught up. Okay.
Okay. Cool. That might be a fucking latency thing, because obviously, fucking New Zealand, America.
Shit happens.
Unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, like my main focus with tech, especially on YouTube, is like there's already a lot there that just covers and reviews products and stuff, and I feel like in a lot of ways tech feels like this very daunting thing, because like when you look at it, especially like from the outside looking in, and it's the big reason why so many people like just go to consoles and don't PC game, is because they have this perception that it's like expensive and that it's like really hard to get into. So as someone who hasn't like always had like a shit ton of money just to go flying around spending on shit like that, my way of getting into tech was like doing a really low budget way, and I feel like my main mission with tech content on YouTube is just to like teach people that there is like a way to get into tech without having to have a lot of money, playing around with just the old shitty tech that everyone like puts to the side and thinks is like redundant when there's like still some uses left for it and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I mean my storage / editing server is an old fucking 8-core Xeon that
Yes.
is absolutely fantastic. I have Handbrake running on it as a fucking plugin on Unraid, and it literally just lives under my desk, and I edit a video on my main rig, and then I go, this can take 10 years to render. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'll get the ping when it's done. Dump.
Yeah, because my current server, I've been meaning to because I have my old FX8320 that I was going to turn into a server. But
Oh,
my current
jelly,
server,
mine fried. No.
yeah, I got mine. I only had like fucking maybe a year before I upgraded. Yeah, because it was one of those things where Ryzen was like, when I built my first desktop, Ryzen was like right on the horizon. But like, it was my birthday and my parents gave me the budget to like build this desktop. So I was like, okay, I just got to build something. So I was just like, my CPU choice was purely from the perspective of like turning it into a server after the fact, knowing that like I would want to like upgrade and go down that path. So I went for sort of the 8320, even though it wasn't as good for gaming because it had those cores.
Yeah, for some of the other content you do, like you do programming and stuff like that, so those extra cores do kind of help for compiling code and shit.
Yeah. So but that's something I've been meaning to fucking turn into a server, and I haven't got around to it yet. So, but yeah, so my current server anyway is a X3320, which is with 8 GB of DDR2 RAM. So it's like quad core, fucking no hyperthreading. Like,
I'm sorry, what?
I mean, it was free. It was free. It didn't cost me a cent. Like,
But I'm
I
saying it still
spent-
turns on.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, it's amazing. I love that thing. Like, it's pedantic as shit. Like, it has its problems, but that's the thing. Like, I don't mind working around that because, like, it's really cool. Like, old piece of tech, and it's like this is what used to be the industry standard, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I get to keep it alive, and I like, even though it has its problems, you know, it's one of those things where you like learn to, you know, you give it the TLC it needs, and it keeps on just purring along, and it's perfect, you know. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
couldn't
Oh,
be happier with it.
I forget the name of them, but
Especially
there's.
considering, like, free.
Oh yeah, free is always great. Even if you got to work through a million bugs to get something working.
Yeah,
There's we have a company here on the East Coast that in the U.S. that actually like literally just takes computers that people would normally be throwing out and they would just be e-waste, and they actually turn them into just functional MAME arcade cabinets, like coin-op arcade cabinets.
Cool.
And I
That's
always
actually
thought
really cool.
that was the coolest thing, because it's like most of the actual like official arcade cabinets, like first off, arcades are dead around here. Like you have to go to the beach. So to even find a company that makes arcade cabinets on the East Coast is impossible, not to mention incredibly expensive. So then these guys came in and were like, "Yo, we get our shit for free. So you give us, I don't know, $300 and we'll do the woodwork and shit, and we'll design whatever cabinet you want and put the buttons in it. And the only thing is, because the parts are random hodgepodge of shit, we don't support it. You buy it and it's yours. That's it."
Yeah. No, that's a really interesting idea, because obviously, especially in like, if you're talking about the sort of, what is I'm looking for? Fucking the hobbyist sort of hacking community right now. One of the big things surrounding that is like Raspberry Pi powered arcade machines and shit like that, just for like to chuck in your living room using emulation, so that you can basically play everything. So like, obviously Raspberry Pis are really freaking cool, but like if you're talking about a quad core fucking tiny ass thing that runs at 1 gigahertz versus an older quad core that you can get for free that runs at like 3 gigahertz, even though you've got like IPC gains there, like it's free first $30, and the bigger unit's going to do the same thing. So it's like, and arcade cabinets are already big, so it's not like space is a problem. So fuck, you may as well just go for that, you know?
Yeah, you might as well go for a full-blown desktop.
Yeah, and then you give shit more life.
So we did get another question in chat here. So somebody asked, as a streamer, have you ever thought about abandoning your current content for more views with games that you don't necessarily enjoy, like Fortnite, Minecraft, which you stream, so we can omit that from the question, and the ever so newly popular Valorant?
I mean, I've thought about it, that's for sure, but my conclusion is pretty quick. Like within 5 minutes, I'm like, yeah, nah, fuck that. Because like I said, like the main reason I stream is because I enjoy it. I like that process of making content and just like interacting with people on the internet and shit like that. So it's like, yeah, it never really came across it, and I'm not sure that would work anyway. Because it's like, if you aren't enjoying it, then who the fuck's gonna watch? You know, like Twitch can tell that. You know, like the only way you're gonna get is if you hate playing a game, is if you're just really fucking good at the game anyway. That people don't care if you're enjoying it because they just like to see you fucking pop off. You know.
Yeah, or you're people like Tyler One that just will rage uncontrollably at a game.
And that's like, there's people for that, and that's obviously like being a chillest streamer. That's like never going to be an avenue I head down myself.
I think I've seen you
So it's
pop
like-
off like once while we were playing Monster Hunter. I don't even.
Yeah.
It was just the most random KO ever, but because you're a weirdo and play Insect Glaive and got a KO, you were like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "That's the most amount of energy I've ever seen out of this man's. Is he okay?"
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things I'd never do just because like, if I'm not enjoying it, what's the point? You know, like, as much as I would like to go full time with streaming, I'm not of like, I obviously am not delusional enough to think that like I'm going to be able to make more streaming than I would be just doing any other normal job. Certainly, I don't think I'd ever be like big enough to rival like fucking Ninja or Shroud or anyone like that. Like, the main reason I'd want to go full time on Twitch is just so I can spend my time doing something I enjoy rather than like doing something I don't enjoy, but just to make money, you know? Like if I can stream on Twitch and make money, then it's like I'll just do that, but I'm not like planning on making fucking millions of dollars and like being like that successful on it.
Yeah, I don't know. So when it comes, so that's where streaming and content creation have this really, I won't say weird, but this really unique intrinsic value that is kind of lost because we're like, at least in the United States, we don't really have a whole lot of like trade employees, if you will, like carpenters, electricians. Stuff like that is kind of going to the wayside here and kind of getting lost with time, if you will. We have a couple of like vocational schools that still teach like trade crafts like that. I'm a graduate of one of them personally, but like there's something different about having a job where you literally are the sole proprietor of the end result of a product, or you have at least a majority of the say in the matter, versus say like you work in a retail job and you stock shelves and somebody buys that and you're just like, okay, there's not really a whole lot of fulfillment there like there is in something in YouTube. Like you put out a YouTube video and you get 50 views the first hour you got it uploaded. That has its own value that kind of transcends the monetary return on that. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a lot of what makes content creation a worthwhile adventure for a lot of people.
Yeah, okay. I hadn't really considered that because I'm not the type of person who looks at that sort of aspect of it. But I guess for a lot of people, especially like when you're talking about the nerdier people, that's sort of like, because often we sort of can be the outcasts of society. So it's like getting attention, I guess, is something people place a lot of value on. That like the viewership can bring from it and like the clout and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess you could say that it's attention based, or kind of in that like self affirmation about the whole thing. But I feel like it's more so a thing of like, for most people, the work that they put in at a 9-to-5 job, they never see the end result of. Like you work.
Oh, okay, yeah, that also makes sense.
Yeah, like you work in a grocery store,
okay.
you don't get to see those people enjoying the food that you sold them at home. You don't even really, take part in recommending what they buy, or even really, convincing them of different recipes or anything like that. When you click go live on Twitch, you're delivering a product that is memories for somebody. It's time that they like, and time is the most valuable thing that anybody has. I mean, I'll say it till the cows come home. And I live in New Jersey, so trust me, they ain't coming back. But these people give up their valuable time and sometimes even drop a sub for you. And there's a lot to say about people that keep coming back to your stream, like Satan coming back to your stream and people hanging out in my stream even, like there's something to say about you personally have delivered an enriching quality to that person's life that they want to come back for it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, that's definitely something I feel, for sure. I felt it in a big way recently, actually, because guess about a month ago now, I got my first my first hype train, and it was a
Hey.
surreal experience that I never expected to ever have as like a Twitch streamer. Like I thought I would just always be streaming to like maybe 5 people at the most, and that was going to be enough for me. But instead, like I get a raid by like a couple of fucking streamer bros, and the next thing I know, I'm getting like bits and sub fucking gifts all over the place. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are people supporting me this much? You know, it was like something I'd never expected because
Come on, man,
like,
you're the killer Kiwi. Of course people gotta support you. Come on. I totally forgot to preface the whole stream with that. Yeah, our nickname for this cat is the killer Kiwi, and I tell you, this man will not smile harder than when you call him the killer Kiwi. Look at that grin.
But yeah, so that was a surreal experience because I never thought like my content would be considered valuable enough for like people to make that sort of like monetary investment in it or like support me that much, you know? Like I already like whenever I get a raid, I'm like, holy shit, and like I get 2 raids, and the next thing I know, I'm getting like all of the support, and yeah, that was an experience.
Well, dude, I was shocked when we first started interacting with each other, and you were like, "Hey, I want to get a new webcam, but I'm just waiting for that Twitch payout." And I'm like, "Oh, well, it's almost the end of the month," and you were like, "No, dude, I haven't gotten a Twitch payout in like 6 months. So it's gonna be a minute." And I was like, "Hold up, how is this man's?" And what was it, like 2 days later? You're like, "Oh shit, I can get my Twitch payout now. Time for a webcam."
But that was so most of that was actually that I built up before I took my break. Most of that first Twitch payout, and then straight away I was like, okay, this is going straight back in my stream. I bought like this arm and the webcam that you're currently viewing me on. So and that was a really cool moment because I was like, yo, like I've made something on Twitch and I use it to improve my stream, and like, like, I mean, I guess we may as well get into like the financial sort of aspect of Twitch now, but because I do slowly get support. I have the occasional person who will sub like every couple of months or something and stuff like that and drop some bits, and I always appreciate that a lot, of course. So I since my last payout, it had taken me about 6 months to get $50. So for anyone who doesn't know, on Twitch you need to earn $100, and then you will get paid out the next like payout period, which I think is usually about the 10th or 13th of like whatever month.
Yeah, roundabouts.
Yeah. So I was so when you're a small streamer, the way you measure it is basically like how long it takes you to earn $100. Obviously, when you're a big streamer, if you earn more than $100 a month, then it's like how much you earn per month. But it's at the moment, it's like how many $100 do you earn in like a certain amount of months. So I had taken me 6 months to get to $50. So I was like, okay, I'm on getting my second payout within like a year of my last one, and it took me a year and a half in terms of streaming time to get my first payout after I got affiliate. So I was like, okay, that means like slowly, even though like in terms of viewership I'm not growing a lot, I am at least like growing in the sense that like people find my content good enough to support me, and then next thing I know, I get this fucking hype train and I'm already there, and I'm like, well shit, I just blew my time out of the water, my expected time to get my next fucking payout. So
Choo-choo, motherfucker. Hey, speaking of the devil, Satan has appeared in the chat. What's poppin', baby?
Finally.
We were just talking about you several times. Oh,
But,
man.
But, it's a surreal experience knowing that people like find your stuff good enough to like put in that monetary support. It's like I don't think I deserve it. So the only thing I really can do is just keep putting effort into my stream and going, like, hopefully I can be like the streamer they believe I am, in their heads, that they would like monetarily support me so much.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that a lot of people, I feel like that's one of the reasons why the whole streamer hiatus thing happens too, is a lot of self-doubt in the content and the constant feeling of needing to rebrand or restructure your stream and like totally flip your script because you're not getting whatever it is you felt like you should have been getting with the amount of effort you put in. And I personally, I had a bout of that just recently in my own content. I've been, those of you that might have not noticed, it had been quite a while since we started doing these let's chats again, and that was kind of part of the reason. But eventually, you kind of just have to realize, like, if you are getting consistent support for something that you are doing, even if it is not a monumental, like just this Goliath amount of people shelling out bits for you and subs and whatnot, there's still a group of people that are finding intrinsic value in what you are providing them as a product. So you have to make the choice of, do I continue finding more people like these guys, or do I say, fuck that, this is not what I want to do, and take that hiatus and rebrand and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, that's never really been an issue with me. Like, obviously, each of my hiatuses has just been because of my situation, like my internet fucking not being good enough or whatever. So I've never really stopped streaming purely because, like, I'm like, oh, my content's not good enough and I'm not getting what I want. Because for me, it is fundamentally just the process of streaming that I enjoy. And I'm not really expecting anything from it. Like I said just before when we were talking about that hype train, like, I never expected to get it. And I always thought I was just going to be that person with like 5 views on stream, but that was okay with me because, like, that's just people enjoying my stuff, and that's all I really want. Even if it's like only 1 or 2 people, that's enough for me, you know.
Yeah, and you had just mentioned now, like your net issues here and there. What would you say is the most, I guess you could say, like, embarrassingly stupid reason why you couldn't stream, or like, what was your most embarrassing tech problem that you've ever had while streaming?
It's just forgetting to switch scenes. That's probably it, to be honest. Because that's like the classic blunder. Like, you're sitting there playing a game for half an hour, then someone pops in and they're like, you're like commentating over this game, and they're like, hey, where's the game at? And you're like, fuck! It's been half an hour just like playing this game and there's nothing there for it. And it's like, it's especially bad when you have like a really funny moment in a game, but you weren't transitioned into it. So it's like your VOD doesn't have that moment if you wanted to use it in a highlight or something.
Yeah.
It has happened a lot, yeah.
So, what would you say was one of your most difficult things on a personal level? I mean, obviously, you're one of the few people that just genuinely enjoy streaming as a hobby and as a passion, with some form of monetary kickback to it, which is just a bonus for you, as it should be for most people. Genuinely, in my opinion, at least, even the people that are making a couple $100 a month on Twitch, you should still consider that a hobby, in my opinion. But for you personally, I feel like this is going to be a little bit more of an interesting question to answer than it is to ask. But what would you say was one of your more personal hurdles for you to overcome in the many, many years of you streaming that you found most difficult or most challenging?
I guess it was just being forced to take those hiatuses, you know? Like, it was one of those things where I didn't want to stop and I just had to. So it's like every time, like, I was starting to build up some momentum and build something, it was suddenly just gone because, like, I had to stop, and then everyone forgot about my existence, like, 6 months later once I came back to it. So it's just that sort of constant feeling of having to rebuild my stream over and over again. That's the most gutting thing of it, because I'm like, if I had been streaming this whole time, like, maybe this would be like a lot more successful than it had been so far, you know?
Right,
So it's just that constant, every time you come back to it after that hiatus, you build it, it's just that slightly harder grind, you know? Just that slightly harder uphill battle, especially as streaming gets bigger and bigger each time.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, from what I've seen at the very least, I mean, because every time I've popped into your stream, I swear to God, I never see you do the same thing twice half the time, unless we're hunting together. So, but I still always see the same people in your stream. So I definitely think that you found a niche way to get that core of people that we had talked about earlier to keep coming back. Also, I just wanted to make it known that Satan did mention in chat just now, rather a little bit ago, that you not switching scenes has definitely happened at least like 4 times.
Yeah. He's always there for it. He's the one calling me out for it. So often he'll leave it for 15 minutes to see if I notice, and I never do. So he has to call me out for it.
Good guy, Satan.
Which is
Good guy.
one of the one of the great things about having that person who's always in chat is they'll pick you up with stuff like that. It's like, oh shit, that's right, that's an issue.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think of which is going to be the better question of the two I'm about to ask. So, you've been streaming for many, many years now. You've had to, basically break down and rebuild several times, forcibly, unfortunately, which is a very unique situation and kind of one of the many reasons why I wanted to get you on an episode of Let's Chat, aside from you just being one of the homies, and I feel like more people should know about you and your content. Having rebuilt your channel so many times now and being basically forced to do so, what kind of advice would you have to give to people that say that they want to take a break versus having to take a break?
If you want to take a break, I mean, the good thing about wanting to take a break is you have that chance to like wind down your stream, and maybe you can like do something to keep the people around. Like even if you don't want to stream, like for one, you could take a shorter break, just like a month or something, and that's enough. Like where you might be able to keep some of the momentum, like it won't fall off too much. And the other thing is like you can wind it down, and even if you're not streaming, you might be able to still provide content to your followers. That way, they like will stick around for when you eventually come back to streaming. And that could almost be a good thing as well, depending on the way you play it out. Because obviously, your comeback could be like this big event that then creates hype and like gets you more viewership than you had previously. So it's sort of the way you approach it when you want to. When you're forced to, it's kind of just a damage control thing. It's making sure that like if it's going to be that situation where you want to stream, but you're going to like occasionally have to take breaks because of life and stuff like that, then it's the biggest thing is creating a community, like when it comes to streaming, and you're going to be in that situation, you can never grow it because you need that consistency to grow a lot. So instead of focusing on growing a large stream, just create a really strong core group of people that even when you're not streaming, like you're still kind of friends, you keep in touch with them and whatnot. And then like when you come back to streaming, they'll be there to support you and get you back on your feet so that like you can get into the groove of streaming again. I think that's kind of something I wish I had done a bit more back in previous streams that I'm like really starting to do now with sort of my core audience that I do have.
Now, could you give a few examples for those of us that are viewing the VOD or viewing live now, as far as like how you can stay engaged with your community and keep that sense of community going?
So I think Discord helps a lot. Like back in the day, it was harder to do something like that because really all you had was like maybe a Skype group chat or like TeamSpeak or something. And that's like in terms of engaging viewers outside of your stream, that's kind of all you had. So it's definitely a lot easier now if you like create a community on Discord. Even if you're not streaming, you can still engage with them there and be around and stuff. And then you can like just play games with them as well. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is focus on like getting your audience onto Discord and like engaging there and actually like participating in the community rather than just watching stream.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that is a solid, sound piece of advice because, like, I've seen so many people that say, like, I need to take a break, I need to just disappear. And then they quite literally do that. Like, we don't see them on Twitter, we don't see them on Instagram, we don't see them on YouTube. Their Discord disappears off the face of the planet. I stop getting notifications from it. One of our good OG Shield Wall homies, Cool Cat Zim, just popped in and said he's done that himself here. And you know what? That's, if you feel like you need to do that and you need to take that space, I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing, especially if you are a hobby streamer or like you're just getting started kind of thing, because it's much easier to fall 2 inches and stand back up than it is to fall 200 miles straight down and still expect to be able to stand up after that.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It does depend on your goals. Like obviously, like I talk about like keeping your community engaged outside of your stream even when you're taking a break. But like if it's one of those things where you just need to like disconnect entirely from that, then it's there's not a lot you can do about that. You just need to like hope that you can, like, if you ever want to come back to it, you can build it up. But obviously, like, when it comes to streaming and stuff, it's so important to like preserve your mental health, because if you don't, you're going to burn out and you'll be forced to do that constantly, take those breaks and constantly have to like do that again. So it is important like to monitor that and make sure you're not going too hard into it and pacing yourself and shit like that.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback off of that, for me personally, the one thing that I've learned in the many recent events that have occurred over the past year of me streaming, which has been my second year only in streaming, is that community that you build, depending on how you actually frame your content versus framing your community. And what I mean by that is you pull people into one platform, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, etc. You corral a certain type of people into that space, and that's fine. But when you start pulling people into a Discord, you have an opportunity to build like quite literally, I like to think of it almost as like your little Sim City. Like, you can make it however you want. You can frame that content in there, and the things that are expected or things that are accepted as like normal day-to-day activities in that Discord, whether it be just people shooting the shit, or like, hey, you're only in here if you need to ask a question about a game or my stream or whatever. If you're the type that has more so of like a basically like just a chat room, like, for those of us that remember the good old AIM days of hopping in a chat room, and, if it's just more of like an open forum for people to just shoot the shit and hang out, I find that you develop more lasting, important relationships with these people versus them just being a viewer in your stream. And then they occasionally will comment on something on Discord, or they'll ask a question on Discord and you respond, and then that's the end of that. The shield wall itself has been more of a support group for a lot of people, myself included, than I would have ever even thought of. And that came up pretty much organically, because I just let that Discord kind of evolve into its own. I don't even consider the shield wall my Discord. It is your Discord, it's DJ's Discord, it's Satan's Discord, it's Cool Cat Zim's Discord. It's everybody's Discord to get what they need when they need it.
Yeah. So I'm kind of trying to do something similar with my Discord. Like, my Discord isn't like, FlameSilverx Discord or whatever. It's the campfire. Same with my stream, and it's this idea where rather than like it being centered around me, it's like centered around this idea of like coming together and just chilling at a campfire and like shooting the shit and shit like that. So kind of a similar sort of philosophy behind it, because if you can build a community that like sustains itself without you, then you can leave it alone for a bit and then come back to it after, and you'll be all right as well as a content creator, I feel. Which is like that's the big fucking plus with Discord. We really need to leverage it rather than just having it be a place where people can like talk to you directly
and post memes,
see you update stuff. And post memes. It's somewhere where the community interacts with each other, not just you.
Yeah, and I think that I guess if we were to just kind of sum that up, like Flame and I literally just mentioned, make your Discord not your Discord in every way you can. Completely segment that, and then your community will still be there whether you're there or not, is what him and I have both kind of learned here over time. And yes, Satan is right. Yes, memes and shit posting are very important for Discord. Do yourselves a favor. Only have a meme and shit post channel, and have people only post memes and shit posting to those two channels. It eliminates a lot of clutter and invites more conversation about the particular topics that you have in your Discord. I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, so out of all of the things that we've kind of discussed today, I definitely think that has been one of the more important things that I feel like a lot of people can take away from this discussion, Flame. But we're coming up on about the usual time for a Let's Chat episode, so I definitely want to open the floor up to you, and for one, plug the shit out of everything that you do. Two, if you want to give a message to the people that are watching this stream live and going to be watching the VOD later on YouTube, please by all means take the last couple of minutes of this stream.
I think I'll keep it short and sweet. Basically, everything, all of my links can be found on my website, which is flamesilver.tech, TECH, and then obviously FlameSilver on screen, omit the X. But yeah, and other than that, I think I'm gonna sign off with don't try to be happy, just be.
My man Flame going deep over here. Fucking Killer Kiwi. He might have to actually change his name to Killer Kiwi if he's gonna keep dropping bombs like that. You know what I'm saying? But yes, guys, our one and only Killer Kiwi himself, FlameSilver. Please go check him out on Twitch. Please go check his website out, flamesilver.tech. And we will see you guys probably on Monster Hunter sometime, because I know we got to get this man his Elatrian kills, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, fucking Monster Hunter Monday, here we come.
Amen to that. Well, we're gonna be doing another round of we're gonna be doing some Elatrian attempts tomorrow. If you're free, you're welcome to join us, because we could definitely use, as much as I hate to admit it, we could use some annoying ass fucking mosquito on a stick playing fucking hunters, aka Insect Live.
Yeah, I might be able to pop in for a quick hunt or something tomorrow.
Yeah, if you're free, we'll take a crack at it. If not, we'll see you on Monday, all right?
Definitely.
And that's all the time we have for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining FlameSilver and I for this episode of Let's Chat. And of course, as always, my Vikings, may the gods be with you all. Skull.